Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We will be starting in 1 minute. No countdown today. I do apologize about yesterday's live streaming practice. Some of you have seen me. Apparently, the only way to test the site live streaming is to go live streaming to test the site. So, no countdown today. I will be controlling and doing all the mechanism and the controlling, and I will be doing the talking as well as we go over the class today. So, we're going to be starting right about now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone, and welcome to the quickest hour in real estate, where we discuss the requirements to obtaining a real estate license. This Monday and every single Monday, I run this real estate class. This class is about learning how to become a licensed real estate professional. Hello, everyone. I'm Warren Nelson, owner and director of Online Real Estate School Incorporated, and owner and guest speaker of my own podcast, Real Estate Saved My Lifestyle. And I'm also the proud sponsor of this free live streaming real estate class. This is the quickest hour in real estate, and I want to welcome everyone here to tonight's show. This is going to be a quick overview of a three-tier system that I designed and developed to afford everyone and anyone with the ability to advance themselves in life. This free live streaming real estate class that I produce every Monday is to familiarize my viewers with the mechanics involved in obtaining a real estate license, and then explaining how to use these principles in the process of representing others in real estate related matters. My podcast, which is entitled Real Estate Saved My Lifestyle, was developed and designed for my students to introduce them to the business of running a real estate business, from prospecting and marketing to social media use and purposes, to influencers and proper use, as well as developing and adding to their young resume to show potential brokers and employers that they have much higher value as an asset coming from my school, Online Real Estate School, Inc. The podcasts that my students get to experience while attending this state required 75-hour class prepares them with advertising to understand the real estate business. It gives them on the job training with that advertising and the marketing, as well as producing marketing material that they may go on and use for their real estate business. My students gain the knowledge and, more importantly, the confidence that they need to succeed in this industry. My school, the cream of the crop in this three-tier program, designed to advance my students to the fullest learning experience. Online Real Estate School, Inc. was designed prior to the pandemic as a virtual class, designed to allow students from all parts of the state to attend a real estate class that they can actively participate in by asking questions, the things that they might not understand, so that each student has an interactive experience of being in a live classroom setting. Many students from rural parts of the state cannot find an in-person class that is conveniently located close to them, and some do not have the available time in their schedule to either leave their current class or their work to rush to a location to try to obtain the 75 hours required by the state to obtain their real estate licensing requirements. Not to mention the risk of bad weather, heavy traffic, and the stress that goes along with that travel time to get to that in-person class. Add to that the expenses of gas and parking. It's all is eliminated with my virtual class. Plus, the added risk of an in-class disruptor, like a student close by coughing or sneezing or talking about having or recently overcoming a health issue that can distract the student from the day's course material. So this virtual class that I put together eliminates many of these variables, if not all of them. You don't have to rush to get to class. You're in an environment that you're already comfortable with. You don't have to worry about the student next to you coughing or sneezing, any of these disruptors. So this virtual class that I put together really makes the learning curve so much more easier, so much more beneficial to each and every one of my students. And we've been using this platform for over 2 years now, and every one of my students very much enjoy the program that we put together. So my entrepreneurial spirit saw a need for a classroom design that would make this state required class more convenient and affordable so that everyone who desires to advance their standings can do so with much ease and comfort. Tier 1, this my free live streaming real estate class, where it is your first beginning to exposure of understanding what's required to becoming a licensed real estate professional. No other school offers a free class of introduction to the real estate class. So I'm very proud to be able to put together this free live streaming real estate class as tier 1 of my 3-tier program. Tier 2 is the virtual class. Experience this 75 hours on a live streaming platform, just like we're doing right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm using Zoom, and I really much like Zoom. I'm not paid to endorse Zoom. I do endorse Zoom. I very much like their atmosphere, their program, and my students find it very easy as well to come into the class and be in the class and understand. Just as I'm using Zoom right now to teach this live streaming real estate class, this is the same platform that I use for my virtual classroom so that you get to experience the 75 hours. So tier 1, this live streaming class. Tier 2, my 75-hour virtual class. And tier 3 is the podcast that I designed for my students in class to advance the students to a better understanding of the real estate business. We like to call it on-the-job training, where we actively take you in this podcast through a system of the real estate transaction so that you understand exactly how to run a deal, how to market a property when you receive a listing, how to work with buyers and sellers, and also how to get used to talking and accelerating your voice. You want to be able to articulate. You want to be able to deflect your voice so that people can understand you. So a lot of folks don't really understand that your mouth is your business in the real estate business, and you're constantly going to be in the sales arena. Most schools will not teach you the business of a real estate business, how to run a real estate business. And so this is where my students get that confident level to already do real estate transactions in my classes and are able to go out there and put everything into motion. So my 3-tier system, my free live streaming real estate class every Monday at 6 p.m., my virtual classes that are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday, morning class and an evening class, and the podcast that we do in the classroom that gives the students on-the-job training on how to run a real estate business. These 3 tiers, this 3-tier system is the best in the business currently in affording the students with every available option to go on and pass the state exam and then proceed to running a real estate business. This is what separates my school from any other pre-licensed real estate course. I talk about an average commission of $5,000, and I show the students in my classroom the quickest route to their first 3 commission checks. I want to put that $15,000 in your bank account as quickly as I possibly can. So I show you and tell you where we should go. Should we work with the buyers? Should we work with the sellers? How should we work with them? How quickly can you put these commission checks into your bank account? And that's the difference between my school and any other school, ladies and gentlemen. Since most schools will only teach you how to pass an exam but not teach you how to run a real estate business, many students flounder after they take the state exam. And a lot of brokers don't have the ability to mentor or to coach or the knowledge of running a real estate business. And so, of course, I see these openings and I see these requirements, and I want to make sure that when I teach my students not only how to pass the state exam, I want them to know how to quickly put their commission checks into their bank account. Now, I talk about an average commission check of $5,000 because we talk about the average sales price in Philadelphia, in Harrisburg, in Pittsburgh of $285,000. That's usually your average sales price, give or take, right about there. Now, of course, we have $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $700,000, $800,000 properties, but on average, you're around $250,000 to $290,000. So that means that if you split your commission with another agent, and I discuss all this, how you do the transaction, then your average commission check will be around $5,000. And I want you to understand that I want you to get those first 3 commission checks into your bank account as quickly as we possibly can. So this is what I talk about in running a real estate business. This is what we talk about when you invest $299 for real estate practice, $299 for real estate fundamentals. When you make a $5,000 commission check, was it worth the $299 investment, the $598 altogether when you make your first commission check? And then I show you how to get those first 3 commission checks into your bank account very, very quickly. And so this is what my school does that separates my school from any other school, by showing you how to run a real estate business after you obtain your real estate license. So once again, I talk about the average commission check of $5,000, and I show the students in my class the quickest route to their first 3 commission checks. Most students have no idea what's involved with running a real estate business or how to help those that they want to help with real estate matters after receiving their real estate license. Most schools and courses are designed to equip the student to try to pass a state exam. Some courses are better than others, but all fail in advancing and preparing their students for the business of real estate and instilling the confidence that they're going to require to go out and do this job. What a blessing it is to be licensed by the state to earn income. You're going to have a real estate license. Ladies and gentlemen, I like to say, once you have that real estate license, you'll never be broke. You'll never be unemployed again. Wait till you see the work and the income that's going to come to you once you obtain this real estate license. What a blessing it is to be able to help and guide others in this maze of real estate transaction. From the very beginning to the very end, you will have the knowledge of knowing how to hold their hand and to counsel them into every step of the transaction, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It's truly a blessing to be able to run a business where your business model is helping others while receiving appreciation and respect as a reward for your services, as well as earning a great source of income for you, your family, and your new lifestyle. You have a real estate business. You run a real estate company, and you will be known as a licensed real estate professional. You get to enjoy the status and the respect that goes along with this accomplishment. I will one day, ladies and gentlemen, put together a monologue of all the students that have attended my teaching and have gone on to become very successful at either their business of being in real estate or the acts of helping others with real estate matters. You see, not everybody who comes to my class wants to have a real estate license. You might as well get it. Why not? You have all the requirements, but some come to my class to learn real estate so that they can help family matters, so that they can help themselves buy and sell a property. They're not happy with the agent they were working with or the many agents that they've been working with in the past. Some have no personality. Some do not explain what's going on. Some don't even know how to do their job. So a lot of students who come to my class are not only happy to get a real estate license. That's the great part of this class. It's not teaching you just how to invest in property. It's going to give you a license by the state so that you can run a business, so you can help others, so you can help yourself. So a lot of students come to my class originally to learn the transaction, what's involved. So when they go to buy a property, they know exactly, they're better educated, they know exactly what they have to do. They don't have to rely so much on their real estate agent. They want to rely on themselves to better educate themselves in the process of buying their own home. So a lot of my students come to my class to educate themselves on the process of buying their own home. Some of my students come to my class so that they can help others. They're not really looking to run a real estate business, but they would like to be of value, of assistance to help others in real estate matters. A brother, a sister, a mother, a father, a son, or a daughter, a family member, maybe even the church or an organization that they work with. They would like to be able to assist with knowledge, not in a transaction. They would need a real estate license for that, but having the knowledge to guide and assist is always a great asset to have. And then some who come to my class absolutely want that real estate license. That's the whole purpose of coming to my class. They want to get that real estate license. They don't want to rely on their employer anymore. They don't want to have all their eggs in one basket. They want another form of income, and they want to be able to give a better lifestyle to their children and their children's children or grandchildren. And they want to be able to have multiple sources of income, or they want to be done working for somebody else altogether and start their own business, their own company. Starts off at maybe as a hobby, and then one thing leads to another. Once you have that real estate license, ladies and gentlemen, you may absolutely start a real estate business. Now, you can start a real estate business part-time. Let's say you got a full-time job and you want to get into real estate on the weekends or after 5 p.m. Most people work 9 to 5. They can only see property after 5 p.m. In the summertime and in the fall, we can do that because we set the clocks forward an hour, set a spring ahead, fall back. So it really doesn't get dark until 8:30, 9 o'clock. And so from 5 o'clock, you got a good 3 and 4 hours of nice part-time business after work in the summer, in the fall. I hate when they have to set the clocks back an hour and then it gets dark at 4:30 in the afternoon. I really hate that. But in any event, you do understand that you can get this real estate license and start your real estate business part-time. Weekend warriors. You know how many people make a ton of money doing open houses Saturday and Sunday in the real estate business? All right, so you can start real estate on a part-time basis, or if you want, after a certain amount of time, you might decide to go full boat, like myself. I've been doing this for 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. I own several real estate brokerages. I'm about to start a mortgage business. I own real estate schools. And so I am an entrepreneur. I got that blood running through my veins. And mostly, if not all of the students that are attending right now, this free live streaming class, and those who attend my class, have that entrepreneur spirit and that entrepreneur blood pumping through their veins. They're good at problem solving. They're good at helping other people with their problems. You know what we're not good at? Helping ourselves with our own problems. So we're good at helping others, but we're not very good at helping ourselves. This is one way, ladies and gentlemen, that you can take it upon yourself to help yourself and advance yourself and your standing in society by getting this real estate license so that you may go on to help others and make a nice income at it. So as I said, one day I will put together a monologue of all the students that, or many of the students have come to my class, and I could think of 10 of them right off the top of my head right now that are very successful real estate agents. They left my class and got into the business and they've never looked back. So I'll be happy to do that one day. But what I would like to do for you right now is I would like you to hear a monologue that I put together from my last class and see if you can tell if they have the confidence and the knowledge to go on and pursue their passion. So let's see if we can do this correctly. I'm working all the control systems. Let's do this.
Well, this school was the only school with 5-star reviews. I did a lot of research.
The information that you give us is just like amazing.
I had a family member that attended your school and they just spoke wonders about you.
I think like most of everybody in the class, it was the reviews for me.
After reading your reviews and just trusting my friend, he said, you're 100% the way to go, and I do not regret it at all whatsoever.
Your school is amazing.
When I came to you, it was within my expectations.
And the broker knows like, okay, this person, wherever they're going to school at, they know what they're doing.
Once I talked to you and spoke to you, I was just like, okay, I think this is the right school.
Personally, I have a very good friend that's actually in the real estate business already a broker. He actually recommended you to be a teacher.
Like served as a mentor, just as many others have said. So it's been a pleasure. It really has.
After your classes, I become like more knowledge, and it's great. It's a great journey with you.
You care about all your students.
He's more than a teacher. He's a mentor. He's someone you look up to.
And you're a great teacher, to be honest with you. You slow down when people have a question. You review things as many times as we need you to.
But you take your time. You actually read to us to get to know and understand this. And I am so ready.
Very glad that I chose your school.
It's online school, so it's great for me because you don't have to travel anywhere. I just choose you, and it was it was a great time.
I thank you, and I would take this class over and over and over and over and over.
One of the best teachers ever.
This would be really good for me. And then I think what really pulled me in was once I talked to you on the phone.
I did see the 5-star review. I did look around a little bit.
I mentioned you, and your school is like really, a lot of people knows about your school.
And I was a little bit skeptical because 5-star reviews, no business, no nothing has 5-star reviews. But it worked out amazing, and I'm happy I chose this school.
But the information that you give, that you give more than a lot of teachers out there give.
Oh, absolutely. I think the school actually really went beyond my expectations.
I cannot thank you enough for the experience and just preparation to run my own business.
It's like more information that you give us, the more knowledge. I just lock that into my brain, and I know I'm just going to get out there and achieve a lot of things.
Working with you has been a pleasure. It really has. You like served as a mentor.
And I would definitely recommend it to anyone who is looking into any kind of real estate at all.
So there's my rewards, ladies and gentlemen. Do you hear the comfort zone? Do you hear the confidence that the students are saying? And so that is the reward that I get. And so I can't wait to put together a monologue from those that you just heard after they go out and start their real estate business. So I will one day put together a monologue of all the students that have gone on to be quite very successful. So let's talk about this, ladies and gentlemen. Real estate principles and real estate fundamentals. What are these two things that the state requires us to learn? A quick synopsis of real estate fundamentals are the laws, federal, state, and local laws, and how these laws apply to you, your conduct, and actions in real estate matters. Basically, what you can and cannot do legally when delving into real estate related matters as a licensed real estate professional. The state wants to make sure that you have a thorough knowledge of licensing law, contract law, agency law, property law, environmental laws, tax laws, zoning laws. So real estate fundamentals deals with laws as well as rights, and the Real Estate Commission is responsible for oversight of licensing law, which requires that individuals who hold a real estate license by the state have the understanding of real estate fundamentals. So one aspect that the Real Estate Commission requires you to have is a thorough knowledge of real estate fundamentals, which deals with many of the laws, federal, state, and local laws, as well as rights in real estate. Then there is real estate practice. I gotta keep an eye on my time here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we're doing very good. So let's deal with real estate practice. Now, again, it's kind of in the name, real estate practice. So a quick synopsis, the process, real estate practice is the business of real estate. The process and explaining the process from start to finish, or as we like to say in the real estate business, from offer to closing. The very beginning of the process starts with an offer. The ending process is settlement, closing. So the real estate practice is the business, running a business in real estate. So I designed a platform that comfortably takes you through all of these processes. So what may seem intimidating at first glance becomes a routine template that you can not only feel comfortable doing, but you can feel confident in explaining the process to those you wish to help as well. So we're going to be talking about the practice of real estate. A quick synopsis of real estate practice is the business of serving others in real estate related matters. You will need to understand the real estate transaction from start to finish so that you can guide another through the process. This includes knowing how to explain the contract and the forms that are required for the process, as well as guiding and counseling one through the hands-on process of negotiating and explaining financing, negotiating and explaining offer and acceptance or rejection, negotiating and explaining title process, negotiating and explaining the home inspection procedure, negotiating and explaining certifications that would be required from the township, the city, the state, negotiating and explaining the appraisal requirements, and negotiating and explaining closing, settlement. So as you can see, the real estate practice, you will be helping this individual from the very beginning process of making an offer all the way through the transaction, dealing with the home inspection, dealing with the appraisal, dealing with the permits, dealing with anything that needs to be obtained in order to close this deal, and then finally, the settlement, closing the deal. So the practice, real estate practice, is literally the business of real estate designed so that you understand it from the first rung of the ladder to the last rung of the ladder so that you may guide others through this process. Now, you just heard from some of my students. Do you see their confidence and knowledge that they have been able to obtain? Do you hear their appreciation of the gifts they received and now possess? Do you hear what they're saying? Do you feel what they are projecting? This is the finished product that I have been offering. This is the results that you are looking for. My school has been designed to give you not only what you seek, but also what is required. If you've ever had a passion for real estate, if you've ever had a desire to learn real estate, if you ever wish to one day invest in real estate, then this should be your starting point, ladies and gentlemen. This is the platform that is designed to be the correct starting point. So, we're going to go over a few things from the very beginning to the very end, and then we're going to talk about how you can sign up for the class and get your real estate license. So, let's do a little role playing here, shall we? And somebody is now looking to buy real estate. They're looking to buy maybe their first property, their move-up property. Maybe they're downsizing as an empty nester. Maybe they want to move into a 55 and over community. Maybe they want to move into a 62 and over community. All these. Maybe you got somebody that wants to do commercial. So let's take a residential transaction. Let's start with a first-time buyer who's never been through this process before. And you are a brand new agent. So this is a good combination that I teach in my class. Being a brand new agent and working with a first-time buyer is a perfect starting point. And I teach my students that this should be the starting point where if you want to put these 3 commission checks into your bank account as quickly as you possibly can, then this is probably the route you want to go. Now, I understand that we're in the seller's market and houses are selling quickly, but here's the problem with working with a seller and you're a brand new agent. They've been through this process before. They understand the program. They understand how it goes. And if you're just learning how to become a real estate agent, then working with somebody who's been through the process many times might be a little intimidating for you. But working with somebody who's never been through the process, like a first-time buyer, might be a much better starting point for a brand new real estate agent. And working with buyers is a little easier than working with sellers. Working with buyers, we just go shopping. We go looking at properties. But working with a seller is a little bit more pressure. I got another mortgage payment. What are you doing to get my property sold? Where are you advertising my property? Are you spending enough money to get my property sold? What are you doing to get my property sold? So there's 2 extremes in the real estate business. It always starts with getting the business. We'll talk about prospecting, which is extremely important, which a lot of people don't understand when they get into the real estate business or any business for that matter. Prospecting. All right. How are you going to be getting your clients and your customers? And we'll talk about the difference between a customer and a client in the classroom. But let's just say that you've done everything that I've taught you to do and you know how to do your prospecting and you now have your first client, which is a first-time buyer. One of the first things that we're going to be doing with the first-time buyers is the 3 forms that I teach you. The very first form is the consumer notice. We'll teach you that in class. The consumer notice explains agency, and this is going to be part of the real estate requirement that you understand, which is why you're taking the class. And the consumer notice explains the services, the employment that you're allowed to offer or you're not allowed to offer in the state of your license requirement. So the consumer notice. The next form will be your business relationship agreement. And in this situation, since we're working with a buyer, it's going to be a buyer agency agreement to allow you to represent this buyer and take them out to see properties for the brokerage. All right. And then again, after we do that, then we're going to start taking them out to see properties. And we show them 5 properties, maybe 10 properties. The numbers vary depending on how good you know your client and how good you know your product. You can streamline it. Now, let's just say that we take them out, we see 5 properties, maybe 10 properties, and the buyer actually likes one. And they're like, I like this one. How do we go about it? What do we do next? Well, what your job is to help the client present an offer. All right, which means it's going to be a unilateral contract. It's only signed by one party, the buyer. And we're going to present this offer to the seller's brokerage to be presented to the seller to either be accepted or rejected. As I said, this is the process, all right? So the first process after we take our buyers out, once we have them under a business relationship agreement to represent them, we take them out to see properties. Now, they find a property they like and they want to make an offer on that property. The first thing that we're going to do is put together an agreement of sale, which would be known as the buyer's offer at this stage. We'll present that offer, and let's say the offer is accepted by the seller with the terms and everything that was presented. That offer went from offer to acceptance. And now, since it's signed by both the buyer and the seller, it becomes a contract, and now the clock starts ticking in this deal. So now that our offer has been accepted by the seller, cuckoo, could go. So we're off to a good start. Now we have to help the buyer go through the process, because you in this situation is representing the buyer. One of the first things that we want to do for the buyer per the terms of the contract is order the title report. And we'll present that title report. We want to order this report within a 7-day period as the term of the contract, and to protect our buyer through the home inspection process and the next stages by making sure that we did the first wrong first. We don't want to do the home inspection and then order the title. We certainly don't want to do the appraisal and then do the home inspection. No, this is all backwards, ladies and gentlemen. There's step 1, step 2, step 2, 3, and so forth. So the first step after our offer has been accepted by the seller will be to order the title report. Now, the title report might take 3 or 4 weeks to come in. Don't get the delivery of the title report and the ordering of the title report separated. So the first thing that we want to do is order the title report. That varies in price, ladies and gentlemen. These are the things that you have to let your buyer know. So now, backtrack a little bit. This offer that we present to the buyer, before we present this offer, we're also giving our buyer what's known as an estimated closing cost, ECC. And in the estimated closing cost, we want to make sure that the buyer has enough money in the bank and the pre-approval to go through with the process of buying the property. All right. So again, the process is having our buyer pre-approved and having the money in the bank. We'll talk about the bank's role and the pre-approval role. I want to talk about your real estate role once they're pre-approved, once they have everything, all their financing in place. Now they come to you, the real estate agent. So I'm taking you from that step forward. We're leaving out the financing part. They already had their financing done. We'll get that at later. But I want to take you through the first step of now they come into your real estate office. They're pre-approved. They're either buying the property cash, so we need proof of funds, or they have a pre-approval. And now we take them out to see property. They like a property that they want to make an offer on. What we'll do is we'll give them their estimated closing cost to let them know it's going to cost $150 for the title report. It's going to cost $500 for the home inspection and the termite report. It's going to cost $450 for the appraisal. All right. So the buyer needs to know all the expenses involved. Maybe the buyer is receiving seller assist on an FHA loan. So now we can deduct that from their expenses. We'll talk about the difference between earnest money and deposit in my class. So now that we've made an offer on the property and the offer has been accepted and we know that we have a ready, willing, and able buyer, the first thing is the title report. That's roughly going to be around $150, give or take. And that's paid outside of closing, POC. That's prepaid. We want to get that paid and get that money over to the title company that's ordering the title report and have a receipt for that, so that we have it for our records to show that our buyer is still in contract, not out of contract, and they did order the title report in the time frame that they needed to order the title report. The second thing that we're going to do in that agreement of sale, ladies and gentlemen, is the home inspection. Now, this is really the big battle in the contract. Looks like you need a new roof. Looks like you need some updated electric. So now the buyer is finding out that the property's not brand new. Even if it's brand new, might still need a few things. So the home inspector has discovered a few problems with the property, and now the buyer wants to know, how do we proceed? Well, I always like to give our clients, and I teach my agents this as well, 3 options. Always give your buyer 3 options. Never make any choices for your buyers. Your buyers should make their own decisions in this process, but I would like to give them 3 choices: vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. Here are the 3 flavors. You may use one of these, or you may find your own. So in this situation, since we need a new roof, we need a new electric, the first thing that I'm going to do is present an addendum for my buyer, asking the seller to do all these repairs. And then that'll be stage 1 of the home inspection, which is a 10-day period. Notice that we had 7 days to do the title report. We have 10 days per the language of the contract to do the home inspection in stage 1. Now, once I send that addendum over in that first 10-day stage, then we enter stage 2 of the home inspection, the negotiating, which is a 5-day stage per the terms of the agreement of sale. We have 5 days now to negotiate. Who's going to pay for the new roof? Who's going to pay for the electric? How can we do this? Can we do a price reduction? Can we do credits? Is somebody willing to do the repairs? And so forth. So this is all the real negotiations in the agreement of sale, is this home inspection, which we have 5 days to try to come to an agreement that if we're going to go through or we're not going to go through with this deal per the report of the home inspection. Can we work this out? Can we get these repairs done? Can we do a price decrease? Are we able to get a credit? It depends on the lender. So these will be the things that I teach you and how to do. So now, after our 5 days, we go to stage 3 of this home inspection, 2 final days to either decide to go through with the deal or get out of the deal. But these are 3 stages of the home inspection. 10 days for stage 1, 5 days for stage 2, 2 days for stage 3. Notice that time is of the essence. Once we're past that, ladies and gentlemen, the UNO. Now, it's called a use and occupancy certificate in the city of Philadelphia and in Pittsburgh, but in the counties, it's called a certificate of occupancy, a CO. And in our contract, we have 2 time periods. 15 days after the offer has been accepted by the seller to order this CO, the certificate of occupancy, or 30 days before settlement to order it. Again, this is a rung on the ladder that we have to go through. We also have to make sure that the property is zoned legally. By this time, our title should have come back to let us know that there are no liens and no judgments or any encroachments or easements that could interfere with the transfer of this property or could prevent the seller from giving us a good and marketable title. So there are caveats in the contract for if the seller cannot produce a good and marketable title, and what we have to do to make sure that the title is good and marketable will be the buyer's expense. Even though the agent who's representing the seller, the broker who's representing the seller, should know the status of the title before marketing the property and taking offers on the property, that is another story. But in the contract, the buyer does have to order the title report. So now, let's say 3 weeks later, the title report comes back and everything is good. That's a good note. Now, what we have to do is order the appraisal. And now we have to make sure that if the bank is making a loan on this property, the property is valued at what the bank is willing to lend and what the agreement of sale has stated. So we're making an offer on this property for $100,000. The buyer accepted it and the seller accepted this offer. But the lender who's given the buyer a mortgage is not going to loan them the money until they have a third party, known as an appraisal, go out and estimate the value of the property at just that, $100,000. And so another hurdle that we have to go through in the chain of events of this real estate transaction to understand from beginning to end. So this appraisal is to make sure that the bank is not lending more money on the property than the property is worth. So if we go out, we make an offer for $100,000, but the property only appraises for $70,000, well, the bank's not going to lend $100,000. The property's not worth $100,000 according to that unbiased report of the appraisal who estimates the value at the property of only $70,000. So it looks like 2 real estate agents and 2 brokers might have made a mistake in pricing this property. This is why it's very important to understand what the appraiser uses for comps compared to what a real estate agent uses for comps, to come up with a right price to help our buyer to make an offer and the right price to help our seller to list the property so that we don't overprice a property. In this situation, we did everything right. The property is appraised for $100,000 and so far everything is good. Now we need our mortgage commitment from the bank saying that the bank will lend us the money. We did everything right. We've been in the agreement of sale. The lender has had the copy of the agreement of sale. Every step of the way, the lender was aware of everything that we were doing. And now that the appraisal has come in, ordered by the lender, and the appraisal comes back at value, then good. Now we need our mortgage commitment. Once we have our mortgage commitment and our title commitment, which kind of runs together. The bank wants a title commitment or title certificate as a contingency for the mortgage commitment. Once we have title commitment and mortgage commitment, ladies and gentlemen, this is music to our ears. Now we will be clear to close. And now the last thing that we have to do is make the arrangement between the buyer and the seller and the title company to all get together at the same time. And before the buyer goes to the settlement table, we will have to do at least 1 walkthrough, maybe 2 final walkthroughs, depending on the loan And the requirements, RESPA requirements, we'll talk about that in the classroom. RESPA, CFPB, TRID, we'll talk about all those things in the classroom. And if it's an FHA mortgage, we probably will have to do 2 walkthroughs. But if it was a cash buyer or conventional, then we probably only have to do 1 final walkthrough of the property to make sure that the property's in the condition that we agreed. All the repairs that were agreed in home inspection have been done. No unauthorized removal of any of the property has taken place. We read our meters, our gas, electric, and our water meter, and we send them directly to the title company from the property, and then we go to settlement. Here, the title company, their job is to follow the closing instructions and to make sure that everything that was agreed to in the agreement of sale has been complied with, including the final walkthrough. So the title company usually goes backwards to forwards with the agreement of sale to make sure that the last thing that was done, the walkthrough, is the first thing that the title company talks about. And they're going to make sure that all the terms of the agreement of sale have been complied with. Everybody brings their money to the table. The buyer needs to bring the rest of their funds, the deposit, their closing costs. The seller will deliver to the buyer the deed. The buyer will accept the deed at that moment. This is called delivery and acceptance. The seller delivers the deed to the buyer. The buyer accepts the deed. It's at that moment that ownership is transferred to hands. And it is at that moment that the buyer becomes the owner of this property. And before the bank will make the loan, the bank has to make sure that if the seller had any mortgage or any liens, they had to be paid off and cleared, so that the bank that's making a loan is in a first lien position. So as you can see, this is a very quick synopsis of the real estate transaction from offer to closing. Now let's go back before the offer and let's talk about the pre-approval or the pre-qualification and getting our buyers financially ready to buy a property. So pre-qualification basically means they got a good credit score, but pre-approval means that the bank pulled all their financial records as well, their employments, their tax returns, their bank statements. And based on their income and the 2836 rule, which we'll talk about in the classroom as well, the bank is going to give them a pre-approval based on the monthly payments, 28% of the gross income that they can afford in their monthly payments. So based on their income is going to be the pre-approval. Their credit score might give them a pre-qualification, but we don't want to take somebody out with a pre-qualification. We absolutely need a pre-approval based on income, tax reforms, pay stubs. The bank is willing to give a loan based on 28% of their income and 36% of their income. The bank uses 2836 rule. We'll talk about that in the class. Based on these two qualifying ratios, because the bank is the primary lender who would like to sell this loan in a secondary market to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac or other investors. This is known as an assignment of mortgage. It's really the assignment of note, but the bank likes to sell the note and not service the loan. The bank usually makes their money by loan origination fees and discount points, and then they don't like to service the loan for 30 years. So the banks usually sell this loan to a servicer or a secondary mortgage market that will service the loan for the next 30 years, and the buyer will actually make their payment to the servicer, not the lender. So we'll talk about this in the classroom as well. So what we want to first do is make sure that our buyer is qualified, a ready, willing, and able buyer. Or let's say they want to buy the property cash. Then it's going to be show me the money. Show me the money. So we're going to need proof of funds in order to make an offer for a cash buyer to verify that they do have the money in the bank account so that they can make this offer, because you know the broker who's representing the seller is going to want to see verifiable funds before they accept the offer. So before we take our client out to see a property, and it will be a client that we take out to see a property, never a customer, before we take our client out to see the property, we want to make sure that our client is ready, willing, and able to purchase the properties that we're showing them. So stage one is usually might happen before they come in to see us, the real estate agent, or it could happen after they come in to see us and we help them along with the process of getting a pre-approval. Now, it's very important that you understand, because of RESPA violations, that we're not allowed to recommend one particular vendor in any scenario. We always want to give our clients three choices. Here's three lenders that we've used in the past. You're welcome to use one of them, or you may find your own. Here's three home inspectors that we've used in the past. You're welcome to use one of them, or you may find your own. Here's three title companies that we used in the past. You're welcome to use one of them, or you may find your own. And understand, the buyer always has the legal right to choose settlement and closing service. Not the seller, the buyer. Once again, these will be the things that we will be talking about in the classroom so that you not only understand how to pass the real estate exam, but you also understand how to run a real estate business from beginning to end, and then who you may accept compensation from and payment from, and who you may not take and receive any kind of compensation from. So this is what the Real Estate Commission wants to make sure. So this class that I teach, which has been approved by the state, wants to make sure that you understand real estate fundamentals, all the legal aspects of rights and ownership, and real estate practice, the practice of taking these clients through the process, the transaction from beginning to end. And I like to make sure that you have not only the knowledge, but the confidence that you need to go from step one to step two over and over again so that you can become a licensed real estate professional and earn the respect and admiration from all those that you help in the business by knowing the real estate business. You know how many real estate agents out there don't understand the contract? Don't understand the 3 stages to a home inspection, don't understand the very first thing that they have to do in the agreement of sale. And it's no fault of their own, ladies and gentlemen. It's broker's fault. It's the school that they went to. Didn't teach them these things. And so, understand, we'll talk about you as an independent contractor and that broker interview that you'll be doing and what brokers are offering and what brokers aren't offering, what a franchise does compared to a independent small broker like myself. I am not franchise. I own my own brokerage, which I won't mention here. I still want to try to be compliant, even though this is not a state mandated class. This is a free live streaming class. I could be a little bit more liberal, but I run another show for my real estate brokerage. And when I run that other show, just like this show, I go into much more details about the properties, the business, what we do for agents. So in my class, I'll talk about the interviewing process. You're not really allowed to recruit in the class, even though I see lots of schools kind of set up to design just that. Be leery, ladies and gentlemen. If the school's designed to recruit you, then maybe they're not really giving you the best education that you're paying for. Even though it's a violation of the rules and regulations, I see this violation done quite often. So I like to say that I can't teach you to be compliant if I'm not compliant myself. So you can ask all my students. I never mention brokers' names. It's always ABC brokerage, XYZ brokerage, and I never talk about even my own brokerage in the class. But what I do talk about in the class is the interviewing process that you are going to be going through when you interview brokers and how to maneuver the maze of interviewing brokers and what they're offering and not offering, especially as a brand new real estate agent. So these are the things that I offer. So let's kind of finish this up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started. Our next class, my next class is March 1st, 2022. March 1st is my next class. I offer 2 classes. I offer a morning class, which is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we take a half-hour break in this class. So it's not a 4-hour class, it's really a 3.5-hour class because I'm mandated every 4 hours to give you a half-hour break. So our morning class is 9 to 1, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. And I also offer an evening class, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., again a half-hour break, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays as well. So it's 3 days a week, 4 weeks for real estate practice, 4 weeks for real estate fundamentals. In my class, as you now know, not only will I teach you how to pass the real estate exam, I'm also going to teach you how to run a real estate business. I'm going to show you how to invest in property. Wait till you see how I show you how to invest in property, where you're not going to be a landlord. You're not going to have to pay taxes on the property. You're not going to have to pay insurance on the property. All you're going to do is receive residual income every month. I'll show you the proper way of investing in property. And it doesn't deal with a lot of Slim Shady, ladies and gentlemen. You're not going to see any of that Slim Shady in my class. This is a state-mandated class. Everything that I teach in this class has to comply with the rules and regulations of the Real Estate Commission. So understand that when I teach you how to invest in property, it will be absolutely compliant. I'm also going to show you the easy techniques of understanding math. We do a little bit of math in the real estate business, ladies and gentlemen. And if you understand your 3 variables in math, prorations, amortization, and commission, these are math problems that we will have on the exam. And these are math that we deal with in the real estate business. Your commission, getting paid, splitting your commission. So once I teach you the 3 variables in math, proration, amortization, commission, it's all very easy once I show you the easy way of doing the math. And I'm also going to teach you long-term memory techniques in the class. This really seals the deal, ladies and gentlemen, because no other school teaches these memory techniques. We basically rely on short-term memory. Our whole curriculum is designed around short-term memory. And this is why we always say, I'm not good at math, I'm not good at testing. It's only because of the way that you were taught in life. You were taught to use short-term memory, but you weren't ever really taught to use your long-term memory. And once I teach you how to use the other hemisphere of the brain, get that to cross over to the other hemisphere of the brain, once I teach you how to incorporate these long-term memory techniques, then everything starts to make sense. What sense does it make of learning if you're going to forget everything that you learned, especially before you take the exam? So having these memory techniques incorporated into the learning curve really does seal the deal. It's $299 for Real Estate Fundamentals, which is a 4-week class, and then the following month, $299 for the other class, Real Estate Fundamentals, Real Estate Practice. So what I do is I take it, instead of coming up with $598 all at once, all you have to do is invest $299. Take the first class. After 1 month, you will know if you're very happy with the class and what you've been learning, so it makes it easy to invest the other $299 for the second month of class that you are required by the state. You need 75 hours. And so in order to give you not only the fundamentals and practice that the Real Estate Commission requires, but to also give you all the basic understanding of how to run a real estate business and how to invest in property, I broke our classes down to a 4-week class. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 4-hour days for 4 weeks for Real Estate Fundamentals, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for 4 weeks, Real Estate Practice. And in this 2-month period, ladies and gentlemen, as you saw by the testimony of my students, wait till you see what you're going to learn. Wait till you see the confidence level that you're going to have when you leave my class. All right, so coming down to the bottom of a quickest hour in real estate, ladies and gentlemen, you can go to my website, onlinerealestatesschoolinc.com. onlinerealestatesschoolinc.com, and you can either pay for the class by credit card, or you can use our Cash App or Zelle payment processor to make your payment. I never knew about Cash App until my students started requesting it. You don't have the Cash App? Professor, you don't have the Cash App? You got to get the Cash App. So now I offer the Cash App as well. So you can go online to my website, onlinerealestatesschoolinc.com, Inc., Incorporated, INC, onlinerealestatesschoolinc.com, and you can go right up there to where it says payment arrangement. And then it'll take you right to the live streaming class, the morning class and the evening class. $299 to sign up for the class. Credit card, Cash App, Zelle. It makes it very, very easy. Our next class is March 1st. Next class after that, April 5th. As you can see, every month this year, I've incorporated a class so to try to make things easy for you. If there is anything else I can do or offer to get you to invest in yourself, please let me know. I'll incorporate it. I'll do it. I look forward to seeing you in my class. I look forward to making you a licensed real estate professional in 2022. I want to thank you for sharing this quickest hour in real estate with me, and I look forward to seeing you every Monday. I run this class every Monday. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Please remember to give a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments, and please hit subscribe so that we can see each other again. Until next Monday, be safe, be healthy, be happy. I hope to see you in my class. I look forward to making you a licensed real estate professional. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your night.